I threw up during a client pitch last week. I know it sounds absurd, but I actually threw up during a Zoom presentation last week. It was a major pitch for a client that my team had been working on for weeks, and I was supposed to lead the presentation. Everything was going smoothly until about 5 minutes before the meeting. I started feeling nauseous, probably from the anxiety and the massive cup of coffee I'd chugged earlier. I kept telling myself I could push through it. I just had to hold on for the next 30 minutes. But as the clock ticked closer to the meeting time, the feeling in my stomach got worse. I figured I could make a quick dash to the bathroom before the call, but as I was about to get up, the notification popped up that the client had joined the meeting early. I panicked and decided to just go ahead and start the presentation, hoping that the nausea would pass. I greeted everyone, trying to sound confident, but I could hear my voice shaking. As I started talking, the nausea hit me like a truck. My mouth began to water, and I could feel my body gearing up for the inevitable. I was sweating bullets, and I could barely focus on the slides in front of me. About halfway through the presentation, right when I was explaining a crucial part of our strategy, I couldn't hold it anymore. I muted my mic and turned off my camera as fast as I could, then grabbed the trash can under my desk and just lost it. I tried to be quiet, but it was a mess. I felt like the world was collapsing around me. After what felt like an eternity, I managed to pull myself together, wiped my mouth, and turned my camera back on, hoping no one would notice how pale I looked. The worst part was that I had to keep going like nothing happened. Just a smile, trying to pretend that everything was fine, even though my body was shaking and my mind was racing with embarrassment. To my surprise, the client didn't seem to notice anything. They were all nodding along and even complimented some of the ideas I'd presented. By the time the meeting was over, I was ready to crawl into a hole and never come out. But then something unbelievable happened. The client loved the presentation so much that they decided to sign on with us right then and there. They even mentioned how impressed they were with my leadership and how I handled myself during the pitch. I was in shock. I thanked them profusely, trying to hide the fact that I still felt like I was going to be sick again. When the call ended, I just sat there in disbelief. I couldn't decide if I wanted to laugh or cry. I had just vomited in the middle of one of the most important presentations of my career, and somehow it had all worked out in my favor. Looking back, it was one of the most humiliating moments of my life, but also one of the most rewarding. I'm still trying to wrap my head around how everything turned out so well. I guess the moral of the story is that sometimes, even in the worst possible situations, things can still turn out alright in the end.